Okay, welcome everybody. Rob Brown of Encore Partners here. Welcome to today's web training on creating your ideal client engine. I am really excited about this presentation, partially because for the first time I am rolling out my live training or this training live on Facebook. So every once in a while I may look away for a second and see what's going on, but I'm going to concentrate on the presentation for those of you who are watching and try not to get distracted by the Facebook feed. Anyway, welcome again. Let's get started. So you might be wondering, who is this presentation built for? It is specifically for the type of people that I work with as a coach. I work with financial planners, financial advisors, and RIAs. The way I think about my clients, one of the most important things that I think about when I think about my clients is your expertise helps people achieve their most important financial goals and their life goals. So you do really important work. And when you're thinking about growing your business, you're not thinking about growing your business, when you are growing your business, when you're measuring the growth of the business, you tend to focus on increasing your assets under management and increasing your fee-based recurring revenue. So if I just described you, then this presentation is definitely for you and you are in the right place. During this training, I'm going to share with you a system that will allow you to systematically attract high-value clients. I'm going to show you how to set the right targets for attracting those high-value targets. I'm going to show you how to do it more quickly than ever before. And just as importantly, I want you to stop wasting time and money on stuff that doesn't work. There's a lot of that stuff out there, and I want to dispel some of those myths. So we're going to cut right to the reasons or the best ways to achieve that growth. And I call that your ideal client engine. So I'm going to make a big promise to you. I'm going to give you the exact roadmap my clients follow to consistently attract high-value clients without blowing your marketing budget, without blowing your budget at all. So I want you to have the exact roadmap my clients follow to do this. I'm going to walk you through each one of the steps. I'm going to make one assumption, that you are really good at what you do and you hold yourself to the highest standards. The work that I do, when I think about the clients that I really enjoy working with the most, it's because you're really good at what you do. You really believe in what you do. You do it with the highest standards. The fiduciary rule really doesn't matter to you because you are a fiduciary. And that's kind of the vein in which I develop all of the work that I do when I'm helping my clients build their marketing campaigns, build their businesses. So as we jump into this, I want to ask you a few questions or actually read a couple of statements with the overriding question of, does this sound like you? So when you think about your business as a financial planner, as a financial advisor, do you say to yourself sometimes, you know, I have some months where new assets just pour into my business, but I just can't seem to make it happen every month or with the consistency that I would like it to happen? Does that at all sound like what you're doing when it comes to marketing? How about this? I spend thousands of dollars and countless time on building lists, hooking up with referral services or reviewing referral services. And I see a lot of that these days. Paying for expensive seminars where people are going to supposedly going to get butts in the seats. Maybe you're spending that time and money on your website or on social media. And then you say, you know, And I do all this only to find that I could have thrown darts at the yellow pages and done a better job of generating qualified prospects and new high-value clients. Does that sound at all like what may be going on in the marketing part of your business? Well, the real problem is, and it's because it's not all your fault, there are a lot of mistruths out there, especially today where people are trying to sell ways to do things online and trying to tell you that there are certain things that you have to do, that old ways are dying. That's just not true. The real problem is you haven't made the marketing shifts in your business, the shifts that lead you to higher and higher levels of assets under management, that brings in those ideal clients that you're looking for, that consistently increases your recurring revenues, your fee-based revenues. But once you make those shifts, I promise you, you will have complete control over who you choose to work with, how you choose to serve them, and the fee that you deserve for the incredible value that you bring. When you make the shifts, you will add new ideal clients month after month by using a system that sets you apart from your competition, allowing your prospects to feel they have no choice but to work with you. That's what happens when you make the shifts. When you make the shifts, you will realize the invisible ceiling, the invisible ceiling on your business has never really been there. There's no plateau if you have a system. There isn't an invisible ceiling. There's no ceiling at all. And you will move to 7 figures in revenues, to $250 million and beyond in AUM faster than you thought possible. And you will do this while reaffirming the deep down, maybe even hidden passion and excitement and joy that you have for the work that you do and the people that you serve. You see, when you make the shifts, you make your marketing easier, you make your business more enjoyable. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rob Brown. I've spent my entire career in the financial services industry. I was an advisor for 25 years. During part of the time that I was an advisor, I was also a part of the executive management team of an investment firm that had 250 other advisors, and I got to do a ton of mentoring. And now, since 2002, I have been coaching exclusively financial advisors, financial planners, and RIAs. I specialize in helping you folks transform your businesses so that you can grow more quickly and create greater freedom in your lives, that you really have some purpose and some passion behind your business. And I am a marketing expert. There's no doubt about it. There are very few people who have the level of experience that I have in really being able to help an advisor develop a marketing strategy that gets those consistent results of bringing in new ideal clients. So let's jump in. Let's discover what those shifts in your business the shifts that need to take place in your business. There are 7 of them altogether, and I'm going to go through them one by one. And these are the exact steps, remember, that my clients look at when they're making marketing changes in their businesses. All of the shifts are based on my belief that there is a hierarchy in this industry, where there are basically 4 stages that every advisor or advisory firm moves through, from aspiring, kind of down at the lowest level, at the foundational level, then moving to achieving, thriving, and then dominating. And as you move up the AUM scale, as you add ideal clients, this is really the currency that helps your business grow, you go from scrambling and overwhelmed and impatient to assured. That's what we're looking for as we're helping advisors implement the shifts in their businesses. We do this using a very specific tool. This is what I call my signature solution. It's my business optimization process. It's what makes my coaching process unique from any other coach or business advisor you might run into. This is the exact way that I help my clients go from where they are today, their point A, to where they would like to be in the future, their point B. And in the middle, there are 9 steps and 3 stages. I'm not going to go through them in full detail, but I wanted to show you this to start the presentation as we get into the shifts, because we're going to spend a lot of our time today where the blue arrow is pointing on the elevation stage of my process, which includes developing a signature system, making sure you have advocacy in place, and also solution selling. They're critical to building your business, to elevating your business, to taking you to that next level of success. So let's jump in. Shift number 1. You need to answer the question, what are my key performance indicators? The saying is I don't know how old the saying is, but you know, what gets measured gets done. I don't remember who said that. I've heard it for years and years. I think I heard it in grade school. What gets measured gets done. And if you are not measuring, if you don't have a system for measuring your key performance indicators, it's hard to make sure that your marketing program is even working. So you have to start with your KPIs. And when I help my clients work through this process, in fact, if you have a piece of paper available, you may want to grab it. You can do this exercise while I'm running through it on the screen, because I want you to start thinking about where you want your business to go, measuring the things that matter most. A lot of advisors only look at things like AUM or revenue. I don't do that. I think it's extremely important to think about your KPI also in terms of your ultimate client or your ideal client relationships, and then how many active prospects you have in your pipeline. So what you can do is you can jot down these 4 categories: AUM, revenues, the number of ideal clients that you're working with today, and then how many active prospects you have in your pipeline. An active prospect, by the way, is a prospect that you've spoken with, you believe they would be an ideal client of your business, and they've told you that they want to continue the conversation. They haven't committed to working with you yet, but they want to continue the conversation. So those are the 4 things that I want you to measure. There might be something else that you want to measure, but start there and write down where you are today next to each category. Next, I want you to write where you would like to be in 12 months. So KPIs aren't any good if you don't have a place that you want to take them. When you are measuring your key performance indicators, you not only need to know where you are today, you also need to know where you want to go. You have to have very specific goals, and you can't be afraid to set goals. So write that down next to each category. And then finally, the last thing that I want you to look at is your success gap. And that's simply the difference between where you are now and where you would like to be. Here is an example of a completed KPI chart. In this case, the advisor basically wants to move from $100 million in AUM to $120 million. That's a $20 million success gap. And we know based on how this advisor defines his ideal client relationships, that it will take an addition of 20 new ideal clients to get there. I just did really simple math here. So this is just 20 $1 million clients. But this is a really important exercise that I insist all of my clients go through as we begin to work together, because I really want to know where you are now and where you would like to be and what the difference is. And then we also look at that in terms of pipeline. So in this example, the advisor has 20 active prospects in his pipeline, prospects that have the potential to become ideal clients of his practice. If he wants to add those 20 new relationships, his target for that pipeline really ought to be 40. So the marketing that we're going to work on is really going to work towards adding 20 prospects to the pipeline. So you see how all those numbers work together? That's a key shift that you need to make in your business. You need to make sure you clearly measure your KPIs. And if you aren't doing it already, make sure that one of those KPIs is the number of ideal clients that you want to work with. Because remember, when you're moving up the hierarchy that I showed you a little while ago, from aspiring to achieving to thriving to dominating, the currency, the thing that's really going to make that needle move for you is the number of ideal clients that you add to your practice. And that's why you need an ideal client engine. All right, so let's move to shift number 2. In shift number 2, what you have to be able to answer is, what is my unique client proposition? What is my unique client proposition? All too often, when advisors and planners are putting together their unique client proposition, they just create a laundry list that looks like a page, from this website that just lists all the things that you can do. That is not a unique client proposition. A unique client proposition describes how you help your ideal clients get from their point A to their point B, how you help them move through the roadmap of your business. And when you can describe your UCP properly, then you stand out to your clients, you stand out to your prospects, and you become more memorable, more referable, and your process is repeatable. So this is exercise number 2, step number 2, shift number 2. Clearly articulate your unique client proposition. And I'm going to spend more time as we go into the other shifts giving you examples of what a shift in your UCP can look like. But for right now, I want you to write this down. Do I have, or do I, well, actually answer the question first. Do I really believe that I have a system for describing the way that I help my ideal clients achieve their goals, that it can be described uniquely, that really identifies with the way that you work best with your ideal clients? That's shift number 2. Shift number 3, which really ties very closely to number 2, is how do you communicate your UCP, your unique client proposition, to your target audience? So once you have defined your UCP, you have to have a tool, you have to have resources for sharing that with your audience. And let me give you an example of what a UCP is not. This is a real problem in the industry today, even for some of the best planners and advisors I know. You look and sound like everybody else. How can you distinguish yourself from everybody else if the way that you describe your process is the same as everybody else does? This wheel on the screen in front of you now is a perfect example of that. There's nothing wrong with these 6 steps. I mean, that is the financial planning process, but it's not how you uniquely apply that process to help your clients get from their point A to their point B. You have to be able to do it uniquely. You have to look different from the rest of the crowd. You can't sound like everybody else. This shift is essential. My business optimization process, which I shared with you a little while ago, my roadmap for helping my clients get from their point A to their point B, is an example of a way to communicate your unique client proposition. As I said, I am one of the best, it sounds like I'm bragging, but I am really good at what I do. And one of the reasons I'm really good at helping my clients grow their businesses, improve their businesses, is because I have a process. I have a system that uniquely allows me to walk my clients from point A to point B over and over and over again. So this is an example of a unique client proposition. part of my system, and you, actually the arrow is pointing to the wrong spot. Let me move it up here. Part of my process in working with clients is helping them develop their unique client proposition using a similar framework that I call a signature solution. The signature solution is your unique client proposition on steroids. It's how you show it to your clients and to your prospects. Here are some examples of unique client propositions that I have helped my clients deploy. And I can tell you, each one has told me when they take their story to their clients and say, hey, I'm changing up the way that I talk about my business. I've created this new roadmap, this new pathway that describes my process. Their clients tell them, you know, I'm glad you showed me that because, you know, I was taking for granted kind of what you do, how you help us, all the things that you do. Now it makes sense because I can see the steps in action. I can remember the things that we've done and what that has looked like, and it matches up to that roadmap. It makes you more referable. If you don't have all of your clients' assets, all of your ideal clients' assets, this is a reason that they bring you more of their assets. You need to have a clear way of describing your unique client proposition and how you're going to communicate it. If you're wondering why that blank roadmap is up there on the screen, is because I want you to create one for yourself. You can take a blank sheet of paper, just write those boxes onto the paper, and you can begin to create a roadmap that looks like this, that allows you to clearly communicate, shift number 3, clearly communicate your unique client proposition. This leads me to step number 4, or shift number 4. You know, I know just a little bit ago, I showed you how to set some 12-week targets or goals based on your KPIs. And that is really important, to have those year forward-looking goals. But when it comes to really going after those goals, what I like my clients to do is really to break down what they're trying to do into 12-week planning segments, 90-day planning, 12-week planning, 3-month planning. It's really important to break it down because when you concentrate your goals, you're more likely to achieve them. You know, when you have a goal for a year, you might say, you know, I'd like to bring in 20 new ideal clients. And you get to the end of the first quarter and you haven't brought any in yet. Say, oh, no big deal. I still have 3 quarters to go. And the same thing happens at the end of the second quarter. Maybe you brought some in, but it's not proportionate to where you're trying to get. And the next thing you know, it's the last quarter of the year and you're way off track. But when you do 12-week planning, it keeps you on track throughout the year. So I want you to think about implementing 12-week planning as you are putting your ideal client engine into place. And here's just a quick picture of what that might look like. So this is an example of actually a real life example of what one of my clients did in his business. He decided that for a 12-week period of time, he had a goal of bringing in 5 new ideal client relationships. And then using some of the techniques that I'll describe in a little bit as we get deeper into the ideal client engine, he decided that client advocacy, LinkedIn networking, and centers of influence were the strategies that he was going to use to achieve his goals. And then we broke that down into pieces so we knew exactly how many client meetings he needed to have, how many connection requests he needed to make, how many times he needed to meet with his centers of influence. So that's a perfect example of 12-week planning. That's the kind of planning that I want you to do, and it works back towards, or out towards, I should say, your KPIs. This is probably a little bit difficult to read, but this is actually a case study that is on what I call my client attraction optimization worksheet. And by the way, if you don't have a copy of my client attraction optimization worksheet, put a message below the Facebook live feed if you're watching this on Facebook, or if you're on Zoom. I would encourage you just to shoot me a quick email and put client, or actually put CAOW, it's easier, CAOW in the comment or in the subject line of an email. Shoot that to me, and I'll make sure you get a copy of it. But this is a case study that's on the back of that client attraction optimization worksheet. And it's a great example of a client setting a 90-day, a 12-week goal. The goal was to increase AUM by 25% by adding 12 new ideal clients, each one having at least $1 million. Aggressive goal. But this advisor's pipeline had dried up. And he said, you know, I'm just going to spend the next quarter really focusing on growing AUM. The result was $25 million in assets. He actually doubled his goal, and he ended up with 14 new ultimate client relationships, 2 more than he planned for. And the key was he just implemented a client advocacy campaign. So while he was actively looking at growing his business, he was also spending more time with his clients, talking about what he was doing in his business, describing the advocacy process, which is an amazing way to get introductions and referrals from your clients. And that's how he did it. And just laid it out step by step. That's what I want you to do as you are implementing 12-week planning in your business. You know, will your campaign look exactly like this or like this? Probably not. But that's why you have to have to go, that's why you need to go through that process. And that's why the next shift is critically important. And this is where all of the marketing hocus pocus, all of those money pit ideas that are thrown at you really need to be brought into the light. There are a ton of folks out there who may be very good at marketing in their own businesses. But when they try to teach marketing or implement marketing, they just try to sell you a hammer because that's the only tool that they have. But hammers don't work for everybody. And when all you have is a hammer, you just start pounding on lots of stuff, even if it doesn't work. That's why you need to focus your marketing activity. It's something that you need to choose to do. In that 12-week planning example that I just shared with you, this advisor chose 3 distinct marketing activities based on the strengths of his business and his personal strengths when it came to marketing. Same thing in this case study. This advisor was awesome at generating referrals and introductions. That's why we focused on the client advocacy campaign. So you have to focus your marketing activities. It's something that I help my clients do straight up front as we're beginning to work together as we compute their ultimate client equation, which is also the same stage where we're talking about their KPIs. So it's all part of the process. It's all part of optimizing your business. It's all part of the 7 shifts for building your ideal client engine so that you're bringing in new clients, high-value clients consistently without blowing a bunch of money and wasting a ton of time. Because I would imagine one of the reasons that you may be on this webinar, watching the Facebook Live, is that your marketing is unfocused. You know, in that yellow circle, there are, I don't know, was that 2, 4, 6, 7 different strategies that kind of pop to mind that I hear all the time that my clients are working on or thinking about investing in: referral marketing, Facebook advertising, paying for seminars, calling campaigns, LinkedIn campaigns, you name it. There's tons and tons of stuff out there that's being thrown at you. It's being thrown at you at a point of uncertainty because oftentimes you haven't really thought about what the real goals are for your marketing because you haven't established your KPIs. You haven't broken it down to what you're trying to get done over the next 12 weeks. So when it's thrown at you with uncertainty, you end up throwing lots of stuff up in the air, or maybe it's better, you're throwing lots of stuff up against the wall, hoping something sticks, hoping you'll get that consistency. But what really ends up happening is you just get a trickle of leads. You end up with sporadic results, and then you're back in the same place. Every quarter, every year, every 6 months, you're trying to kind of get your arms around this. But when you have an ideal client engine, when you really work through these shifts, it becomes a much more straightforward process that you don't have to reinvent it every few months or every few years. You can stay at it month after month, quarter after quarter, year after year. This is what it looks like. This is what a focused, ideal client engine looks like. Obviously, your business is at the very start. You decide which of the marketing strategies make the most sense for your business, and you use your unique client proposition to then to tell your story, to do that marketing into those different areas, whether it's out to your clients and getting advocacy, whether it's your personal connections, whether it's centers of influence or influencers, whether it's cold leads, if you're trying to generate business from cold leads, maybe doing seminars or Facebook ads. It all points back to that UCP marketing system, that way that you're communicating, the way that you uniquely help your clients achieve their most important goals. So that's what this is what the engine looks like at its foundation. And when you do that, then you get that predictable lead flow, and then you get ideal clients, and your business starts to grow. So you might be thinking, how do I decide which of these different areas that I should be focusing in? What kind of results can I expect based on the types of marketing that I want to do in my business? Whether I want to do one-to-one marketing like referrals or paid marketing like Facebook advertising. They all work if they're done right and you're measuring your ROI. So I popped this up just a second ago. This is, by the way, the client acquisition optimization worksheet that I mentioned that you can request from me. Just put a message in the below this post on Facebook, or send me an email if you're not on Facebook, and I'll make sure you get a copy of the client acquisition optimization worksheet, because you need this to be able to make the choices of the type of marketing you're going to put into your engine, because not every engine is exactly the same. And I remember I said before, too many marketers, because they have a hammer, they try to sell you a hammer when you need a screwdriver. So you have to have a system for determining how you're going to choose which marketing activities. And you don't have to have 10 of them. You saw the example of that client who grew his AUM by 50% in 90 days using one technique. He didn't need to do anything else. The other example I showed was 3 techniques. It was kind of a balanced approach. Most of my clients have 2 or 3 marketing approaches that they're using to fill their pipelines, to add their ideal clients so they achieve their 12-week goals and their 12-month goals. And you can use the client attraction optimization worksheet to kind of figure out what that system is for you. And I just highlighted a couple of pages here that describe some core campaign types that you can be considering and bouncing up against your business, and the kind of results that you should expect, both in terms of, then you can calculate, I should say, the kind of results that you should be getting in terms of generating active prospects and generating new ideal clients. It looks something like this, and this just goes back to the example I showed you a little while ago. The client that I was working with decided to use advocacy. He already had 1 client meeting scheduled per week. He did the math based on the client attraction optimization worksheet and could comfortably predict that if he had those 12 meetings, he could walk away with 3 new clients. We looked at LinkedIn. Same thing. He said, I really want to be doing something online, but I don't want to, pay for Facebook advertising. I like networking on LinkedIn. So we just came up with a commitment to spending 15 minutes a day on LinkedIn, sending out 5 connection requests. And again, doing the conservative math, He's able to bring in one client roughly a quarter with that simple LinkedIn routine. This isn't that cockamamie stuff that gets thrown at you all the time. People telling you that LinkedIn is, going to revolutionize your business, but only if you know the secrets to LinkedIn. Yeah, there are some secrets, there's some steps, but it all starts with connecting with people and communicating with them. And it doesn't have to take a lot of time or a lot of money. This was just connect with some folks, have calls or coffees with them, see if they're good fits for his business, and then turn them into clients. And the same thing with centers of influence. He's going to spend 2 hours a month on 2 meetings a month working with his 6 designated centers of influence. And that strategy for him, when he does that consistently, generates at least 1 new client a quarter. Again, conservative estimate. And I highlighted in the green at the bottom, 3 new clients from advocacy, 1 new client from LinkedIn networking, 1 new client from centers of influence. That's this advisor's ideal client engine that matches up very specifically not only to his 12-week goals, but his 12-month goals. Because if he brings in 5 new clients a quarter, he's going to hit those 20 new ideal client relationships over the course of the year. And he's going to close that success gap. So it's extremely important as you're building your ideal client engine that you focus your marketing. Don't try to do everything. Focus on the things that will help you generate results based on your business style, the time that you're able to give to it, and if you are going to invest some money in it, the right type of investment so you're getting immediate quarter by quarter ROI. You're not investing, 10 grand in a seminar this month, hoping it'll pay off with, at least 1 new client over the course of 12 months. That's crazy thinking. All right, so let's jump to the next shift number 6. You need to leverage your authority. So once you have your unique client proposition, your signature solution that allows you to uniquely describe the way you help your clients achieve their goals, you need to leverage that the authority that comes from that. You need to build your marketing campaigns around that UCP and tools that expose it to the light of day. I call this authority marketing. And the key behind authority marketing, it doesn't matter where you're doing it, you want to grab attention, you want to show that you are an expert, you want to connect with the audience so they really understand what it is you do and they really believe that you can help them, and then you call them to action to want to work with you. And I just threw some pictures up here of some campaigns that I've, like the $250 million roadmap is a campaign that I've run to bring in new clients to my business. The other 3 are examples of authority marketing pieces that I've helped my clients generate after they've clearly defined their unique client proposition. Because too much of the stuff out there is laundry list, me too marketing. I open up newspapers when I'm traveling or go online in different cities and search for financial planners and registered investment advisors, and the marketing all looks the same. They're all asking the same questions or listing the same bullet points that just defies logic. It's not a laundry list. It's not me too. An authority piece is a compelling offer, something that you would be proud for your clients to see and read. On the right here is an example of an authority piece that I generated for a client. He uses this as part of his networking, in his referral gathering with that specific target market. And when you have a compelling offer, you can share it with your clients, with your prospects to move them along more quickly. You can share it with your connections online and offline. It helps your COIs understand what you do. You can use it in LinkedIn, on Facebook. You can use it as part of paid advertising, trade publications, sponsorships, seminars, you name it. But it becomes a compelling offer that is based on your unique client proposition and where your prospects are hanging out. I have this grocery store bulletin board up here with the little, tear-offs, free kitten, washing machine for sale, because I actually had a client put her authority engine, an audio interview that she did on a radio show, and make it available on a bulletin board in a gourmet grocery store, because that's where her clients hung out. She generated about $8 million in new business from a bulletin board because she made a compelling offer. It's crazy. Think about where your audience hangs out. That's where you want your compelling offer to show up. You can be online. I've run a 3-minute retirement readiness quiz for one of my clients. You can develop a tip list. And this is a tip list for educators that I helped one of my clients develop. You can develop a scorecard. This is for an advisor who focuses on helping people manage their 401k assets. So he created the 401k must-dos, a simple scorecard system that he gives to his clients and centers of influence to share with people who have 401k dollars, and that leads to new business. It's demonstrating authority. As I mentioned earlier, there has to be a call to action, an obvious next step. So when you create that authority piece, don't forget to tell people what they need to do next. So in this case, the advisor or the person doing the 401k score adds up their points, and based on the number of points, they have a goal that is set by the advisor, which includes meeting with the advisor. Here's another example of a call to action on a Facebook ad. A prospect sees the Facebook ad, maybe like you saw the Facebook ad that brought you to this web training, and then there was a call to action to sign up for the training. In this case, it's the call to action is to schedule a phone appointment with the advisor. That's step number 6. That's how you show your authority, is you take your unique client proposition and develop simple, easy to use, easy to implement authority pieces, authority engines for your business. And then that brings me to the final shift, shift number 7. You must automate your nurture sequence. And I'm not sure that's the greatest name for this shift, and I apologize for that. But I guess nurture sequence is kind of a tool that or a term that a lot of online marketers use for, how you make sure that once somebody asks you for information, becomes a prospect of your practice, how do you nurture them along until they become a client? Because the truth is, you can't turn that predictable lead flow into ideal clients unless you're nurturing them. So in this slide, just a little bit different than the other slide of the ideal client engine I showed you, just because I wanted to highlight that you need to have that automated nurture sequence, that system for automate, how you're dripping on your leads so that they know what to do very specifically, get to know you better, so that by the time you're meeting with them through a couple of appointments, they're ready to become ideal clients of your practice. But all too often, advisors give up. I've worked with clients who I've helped generate leads for, and they never call them. I talk to people who do seminars and don't have a system in their seminar to get people into the office for a meeting. There's just like, they expect some sort of magic to happen. You've got to nurture them. And if you spend time and money generating those leads, why waste them? Because the truth is, and this was a study that was done a number of years ago by Chet Holmes, only 3% of the people who see your offer are ready to purchase, ready to become a client right now. 7% are open, but they're not looking. 30% are not thinking about it, they're indifferent. Another 30% think they aren't interested, but maybe they could be. And then the final 30% know they're not interested. But if you only nurture people, once or twice, you're hardly going to move up the scale. Microsoft did a study a number of years ago. They said 89% of salespeople have given up around the fourth contact. Yet the conversion actually happens after 8 or 9 contacts. You have your prospect is ready to buy 90% of the time at the 9th contact. That's why you have to make sure that as part of your ideal client engine, you're nurturing, you're automating that nurture process so prospects are hearing from you consistently. And that's one of the things that I help my clients do is we're building their authority or their ideal client engines, is we're helping them automate that sequence. We're coming up with a way to take the leads that we're getting, whether they're from referrals or Facebook ads or LinkedIn or centers of influence, it doesn't matter. How are we going to nurture them? We're not just going to call a referral one time and if they don't schedule an appointment with us, give up. We're going to continue to nurture them so that when they're ready, when there's something going on in their life and they need help, they know that you're there because you've been there maybe even more than their current advisor. So that's shift number 7. Automate your nurture sequence. So let me bring these shifts together because this is another case study from one of my clients, Ron, an RIA outside of Omaha. Since we've been working together, he's grown his business from about 20 million in AUM to over 200 million AUM. I think at last count he was at about, actually he just added a $10 million relationship. Slight brag there, I helped with that. But anyway, I think he's around 230 right now. So he's grown an incredible business. He added $29 million in AUM last year, all by focusing on bringing in ideal clients. We did one 90-day campaign early on in the game that generated $100,000 in recurring revenue in 90 days. And the key to his success, bringing in that 29 million, growing from 20 million to 200 million, finding that $10 million relationship that his partner just landed, is making sure that he is focused on activities that make the most sense for his business. So he told me, whether we're getting client referrals, writing posts for our blog, or he's actually doing videos for his blog too, or running ads on Facebook, we try to leverage our authority and demonstrate our expertise. That makes us stand out from the crowd and helps us grow steadily. He's getting that consistent growth by having made the shifts. It's incredible growth. And I do take part credit for it, but it's because Ron and his team are working things the way they should be working. They have an ideal client engine. So let me wrap up here, just a few more minutes. I promised that I would show you a way to systematically attract high-value clients, how to set targets, how to grow more quickly, and how to stop wasting time and money on stuff that doesn't work. As I think back through what I've talked about in the 7 shifts, I feel confident that I've delivered on those promises. And I also promised to show you the exact roadmap my clients follow to consistently attract high-value clients without blowing their marketing budgets. I showed you the process. You can take what I showed you on this presentation and put it to work right away. You can start right now. In fact, I got you started early in the presentation when I encouraged you to begin with your KPIs. So now you have a choice. And this is a huge choice. And when it comes not only to improving your marketing results and implementing your ideal client engine, but just making your business the business that you really want it to be so that you have greater purpose and passion around what you're doing. And those are just as important, maybe more important than the marketing piece. But now you have a choice. You can keep doing what you're doing, and you know what they say about that. You'll get the same results. Or you can make a decision to make a change. You can decide right here, right now. You can begin as soon as I end this web training. You can decide to start working on this and put it to work. And if you do, I promise you, you will improve your marketing results in ways that you never thought possible. That's the choice you have to make. You can take what I've told you and put it up on the dusty shelf with the other 3-ring binders that you've brought back from conferences and seminars, or you can leave this on your desk, leave this in your brain to work on right here, right now, and get going. Of course, I can help with that, and I'm not going to try to sell you anything right now, but I've set aside time next week where I'll speak with anybody who is on this webinar or listening to this Facebook Live personally, and I'll show you exactly how to implement in your business your ideal client engine. That's what we can spend time talking about. When you walk away from that 1-hour session, you will have a roadmap for building your ideal client engine, and I do it for free, no cost. There are some qualifications, as I mentioned earlier. You must be a high-integrity financial planner, financial advisor, or RIA. I don't work with guys and gals who are just trying to gouge their clients with big commission products or who don't take planning and the investment process seriously. You must be awesome at what you do. You must be a really good planner. You help your clients achieve their results, and you must be open to new ideas and change. If you want to talk to me about doing the same thing that you're doing now that's not getting you the results that you want, we don't really need to talk. But if you hit those buttons, if you hit those marks, then you should book a session now. You might be thinking, well, Rob, why are you doing this? At the core of my philosophy is giving is getting. The more I give, the more I get. When I do these strategy sessions, when I do this webinar, I don't sell anything. There's not going to be some button here at the end that says, buy this program, buy this product. I just gave you an hour's worth or almost an hour's worth of straight up coaching that you can put to work right away on your own. And that's what we'll do on the strategy session, straight up coaching on the best ways to optimize your business, to develop that ideal client engine. And I know when I do that some of you might decide, hey, Rob, I really like what you had to say, and I need some help with the implementation. Are we a good fit for each other? And then we can talk about that. But not until I've helped you create your ideal client engine during that strategy session. And if you say, I'm just going to take it and run with it and do it on my own, that's perfectly fine. But if we're a good fit for each other and you want to become one of my clients, that's great too, and we'll talk about it then. But not until the call is over and not until you're sure and I'm sure that it makes sense to work together, that we're a good fit for each other. That's why I'm doing this. Giving is getting. So here's how you get. If you go to my website, go to encorepartners.com/apply, encorepartners.com/apply. You'll be taken to my calendar. Just pick your time zone, pick a time that fits your schedule, and then I will call you and we'll get on the phone and we'll get on to Zoom, and during a course of an hour, we'll develop your ideal client engine. It's a great opportunity. I don't know why anybody who is serious about taking your business to your next level of success, anybody who really wants to improve the results that you're getting from marketing needs to take advantage of this opportunity. I'm really good at what I do. There's very little, if anything, that I ever run into that I've not heard about before. I've been in this industry for 30 years. I grew a great practice. I mentored advisors. I'm as part of an executive team of an investment firm. I've been coaching advisors for the last 17 years. I'm really good at this. My system works, and I want to share it with you more fully because I want to see your business grow whether we end up working together or not. So let me leave it there. Thank you for listening to this web training. Thank you for being on Facebook Live or signing up for the webinar, whichever way you came on board. I want to be your partner in success, so let's talk real soon. Thanks a bunch.